Good day, my name is Herman Rabe. I'm from Prominent Paints Academy. We are here today to have a look at the application of a premium textured coat. So regardless if it's a fine textured, medium textured or rough textured, we're going to show how to do the application without getting the roller lines or the marks that's on the wool normally after you've done the application. So with regards to the application with texture coat, and with any paint for that matter, always remember to read the information on the roller that we are going to use. In this particular instance, we're going to use the rough coat roller from Hamilton's, and the reason for that is because it is a textured paint for outside surfaces that we are going to paint, but also because of the roughness of the wool. So the surface texture will actually indicate and dictate for the type of roller being used for that particular purpose of paint. Always remember, because it's a new roller, to remove the packaging and then wash out the roller, and then once it's washed out, just give it a good spin and then start applying the paint coating while the roller is still moist, so that the paint does not dry on the base of the roller, and you'll be able to clean it easily after you've used the particular roller. When we look at the texture coat, always remember to stir the product with a flat paddle to an even consistency, and then also remember to paint in the shade when you do start painting. So it's always important to start on the northern side of the house and then paint anti-clockwise, so that you and the paint can stay in the shade and the surface temperature is cool enough for you not to use excessive amounts of paint for that particular purpose. Your paint brush is a different method of application than the roller, and your roller application actually makes a ripple and your brush application makes stripes. And because of that particular aspect, you also get the color different illusion, or the illusion of a color variation that you observe. So when we do the stripe coating, we would then be able to apply the paint coating from the corner, and once you've done the application and the surface is nice and wet, you can stipple the paint coating so that it's got a little bit of a ripple, and that will then create the illusion of you doing your stripe coatings with a roller as well. So we're just going to do this application very quickly with this on the corner as such, and then once the brush application is done, we can then proceed with the roller application, and by doing that we're actually keeping a wet edge on the surface. So all we do is we just fill the roller and then transfer the paint onto the wool surface, and the minute your roller starts making a noise, that is when you know your roller is dry and you need to fill it again. So the roller needs to constantly stay wet. And the texture coat application on a wool surface would actually be spreading approximately 4 square meters per liter in general on a normal wool, and on a rougher wool you'll probably get about 2 to 3 square meters per liter, depending on the porosity, surface temperature, as well as the texture of the wool. So if it's a very rough surface wool, it will also influence the spreading rate, but also because of the surface temperature. So that is why it is important to remember to paint in the shade, so that you'll be able to get a maximum spreading rate from the coating. So in this particular instance, we're going to start in the corner of the wool surface, and we're just going to apply the paint from the corner to about 1.5 meters into the wool. You notice I even leave some gaps between the application, and the reason being is because it's quite a thick coating on the wool surface already, and there's quite a lot of paint on the wool. So when we're looking at the wet film thickness of the paint, we're going to be able to apply this particular product at 200 microns wet film thickness. And if we have applied it at 200 microns wet film thickness, we are sure to let the coating dry at a dry film thickness of 90 microns per coat, which the purpose of a textured paint is to bridge hairline crack formation that also forms on a wool surface. And we're going to have a look. Yes, with a wet film thickness gauge or wet film thickness comb, it's not always possible to get the accurate wet film thickness on a rough surface. And the reason being is because of the gauging teeth on the sides that should touch the surface will then be uneven on the surface, and your measurements will be incorrect. But as a guide, you can just listen to the roller. Your roller application should not make a noise, and therefore your coating will be at 200 microns wet film thickness. So what we then do is After the paint coating has been transferred from the container onto the wall surface, now we're going to spread it out to an even consistency so that we can see when we then paint up and down that we normally paint, the entire wall surface will then be evenly distributed, so that we know that everywhere we then have the paint, it looks similar in the depth or the thickness of the applied paint onto the surface. So now we're just mirroring it out. And because the paint is already transferred from the container onto the wall, we do not need to fill the roller again. There's enough paint onto the wall surface to then adequately spread it out onto the wall. So there's no need for you to fill again. So this is normally why and how we paint in the sense of the application, by painting up and down. Now, this particular aspect regarding the textured paint, as we've mentioned, the fineness or the roughness doesn't matter, your application is the same. So once the paint coating has been evenly spread, this is where the technique comes in, and once applied evenly and completely spread out, we can then start at the beginning of the application and take the roller, place it on the top of the wall, and then drag it to the bottom. And then you lift the roller away. Now we can overlap from that first roll down about 5 to 10 millimeters, and then, or centimeters, sorry, then drag it from the top to the bottom and lift away. And again, 5 to 10 centimeters that you overlap, drag it from the top to the bottom, and then lift the roller away. And we finish off this coating in one direction. And by doing that, all the peaks of the paint will now lie in a downward spiral, where when the sun would shine onto this wall surface, you will not notice any form of roller lines or streakiness on the application. And that goes with any type of aspect regarding the application of any textured paint. When you get to the edge of the application, you can maybe leave a little gap there so that you've got a thicker wet particular aspect or a wet edge. And now we can proceed by continuously applying the paint again. So from the roller or from the container to the wall, we just now apply. And yes, sometimes it slips because the roller is nice and full, but all we need to do is just apply it. And we continue this again to about 1.5 meters onto the wall surface. And once it's completely filled onto the wall, we will then be able to again proceed by spreading it out evenly. Thank you, and join us next time for more how-to videos. Remember to send some of your requests through of what you would like to see. Thank you.